So in this session, you are going to study inflorescence. Here, what is meant by an inflorescence? Inflorescence means it may be a single flower or a bunch of flowers. That includes single flower or a group of flowers or a cluster of flowers that is present on the same axis is said to be, what do you call? Inflorescence. So what is meant by an inflorescence? It may be a single flower or a group of flowers that is present on the same axis. Now, coming to the parts of an inflorescence. This is the main axis of an inflorescence, and here there will be a development of like flowers. Now, this is the main axis of an inflorescence, and this is said to be peduncle. So, what is meant by peduncle? Main axis of an inflorescence is said to be peduncle. So, these are the flowers. Flower has a stalk. This stalk is said to be pedicel. So, now if there is a presence of pedicel, then the flower is said to be pedicellate flower. In some cases what happens, there is an absence of pedicel. In that case it is said to be sessile. So presence of pedicel, it is pedicellate. Absence of pedicel, it is said to be sessile. Now this is flower. So the main axis is said to be peduncle, which produces flowers. Flower has a stalk called pedicel. Presence of pedicel is said to be pedicellate flower. Absence of pedicel is said to be sessile. Now, this is the main axis and this is said to be peduncle. Now, this is the pedicel. Here what happens, just at the base of the pedicel, there is a presence of very small outgrowths, and these outgrowths are said to be bract. So, what is meant by bract? Bract, it is a small needle-like outgrowth that is present on the peduncle. This is very, very important. Outgrowth that is present on the peduncle is said to be, what do you call? Bract. Here also, if there is a presence of bract, then it is said to be bracteate. If there is an absence of bract, then it is said to be ebracteate. Presence of bract, bracteate. Absence of bract, ebracteate. Like that, there is a presence of small outgrowth present on the pedicel. Outgrowth that is present on the pedicel, this outgrowth is said to be bracteole. Outgrowth that is present on the peduncle is said to be bract. Outgrowth that is present on the pedicel is said to be bracteole. Here also, if there is a presence of bracteole, this is said to be bracteolated. Absence of bracteole, ebracteolated. So these are the parts of an inflorescence. I repeat, inflorescence means single or a group of flowers that is present on the same axis. The main axis is said to be peduncle, which produces flowers. Flower has a stalk called pedicel. Presence of pedicel, then it is pedicellate. Absence of pedicel, then it is sessile. And then outgrowth that is present on the peduncle is said to be bract. If there is a presence of bract, then it is bracteate. Absence of bract, then it is ebracteate. And outgrowth that is present on the pedicel is said to be bracteole. Presence of bracteoles is said to be bracteolated. Absence of bracteoles is said to be ebracteolated. This is about the parts of an inflorescence. Now, we will move on to types of inflorescence. Here, there is a presence of two types of inflorescence. First is racemose. Second one is cymose. Coming to the first is racemose. Here, this is the peduncle. The growth of the peduncle is unlimited and it never ends in a flower here, which produces pedicellate flowers like this. In this case, what happens? The growth of the peduncle is always limited and it always ends in a flower like this. Here, the growth of the peduncle is unlimited. Here, the growth of the peduncle is limited. And here, the peduncle never ends in a flower. Peduncle always ends in a flower. That is the second point. Now coming to the third point, arrangement of these flowers. Now look here. These are the older flowers and these are the younger flowers. This is the older flower and these two are the younger flowers. In this case, what happens? Older flowers present towards the base, younger flowers present towards the tip. This type of arrangement is said to be acropetal arrangement. In this case, it is just opposite. Older flowers present at the tip, younger flowers present at the base. This type of arrangement is said to be basipetal arrangement. So, acropetal, basipetal. Acropetal means older flowers present towards the base, younger flowers present towards the tip. Here the older flowers present towards the tip, younger flowers present towards the base. Now coming to the next is the maturity of these flowers. Here, this older flowers opens early than the younger flowers like this. That means here the maturity that starts from the periphery towards the center like this, from the periphery towards the center. In this case, from the center towards the periphery. So here from the center towards the periphery, here from the periphery towards the center, this type of maturation is said to be centripetal maturation, and here this type of maturation is said to be centrifugal maturation. I repeat, there are two types of inflorescence, racemose, cymose. Racemose, the growth of the peduncle is unlimited. Growth of the peduncle is limited. The peduncle never ends in a flower. Peduncle always ends in a flower. And then acropetal arrangement of flowers, that means the older flowers present towards the base, younger flowers present towards the tip. Here the basipetal arrangement, that means the older flowers present towards the tip, younger flowers present towards the base. And then coming to the maturity of these flowers, here the maturity that takes place from the periphery towards the center, that means the older flowers opens early than the younger flowers, that is said to be centripetal maturation. Here from the center towards the periphery, then it is said to be centrifugal. So here there are two types of inflorescence, racemose and cymose. Next we will move on to flower. Next is flower. Flower is a reproductive part of a plant body, and here the flower consists of four parts: calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium. So flower, it is a reproductive part of a plant body which consists of 4 important whorls or parts: calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium. Now coming to the first, flower has a small stalk. That stalk is said to be, what do you call? Pedicel. If there is a presence of pedicel, then it is pedicellate flower. If it is absent, then it is said to be sessile flower. Then the tip of the pedicel is like this. Tip of the pedicel is said to be, what do you call? Thalamus. So stalk of a flower is said to be pedicel, and the tip of the pedicel is said to be thalamus. So on the thalamus, what happens? There is a presence of these 4 different types of whorls. Now coming to the first one here, this is the innermost part, is the gynoecium. Then coming to the androecium, then corolla, last is the calyx. Now flower consists of 4 whorls. Coming to the first is the calyx. Calyx, it is the first whorl of a flower which consists of very small green leaf-like structures. These are said to be, what do you call? Sepals. So the sepals are collectively known as calyx. So calyx, it is the first whorl of a flower which consists of small green leaf-like structures, and these are said to be sepals. Coming to the next is the corolla. Corolla, it is the second whorl of a flower, consists of brightly colored structure known as petal, so that the petals are collectively known as corolla, so that it attracts insects for pollination. So calyx consists of green colored units are said to be sepals. Corolla, it is a second whorl of a flower which consists of brightly colored structures are said to be petals. Now this sepals usually, or the calyx usually gives protection to the flower when it is in bud condition, and corolla consists of petals, usually attracts insects for pollination. Now these two, calyx and corolla, together is said to be non-essential whorls. So calyx and corolla together is said to be non-essential whorls because it does not take part in reproduction. Now coming to the next is androecium. Androecium consists of, these are the male reproductive units are said to be stamens. So stamens are collectively known as androecium, male reproductive units. Coming to the last is the gynoecium. It is an innermost whorl of a flower which consists of female reproductive units are said to be carpel. So here inside the carpel, here you can see there is a presence of ovules like this. So now androecium, it is the third whorl of a flower which consists of male reproductive units are said to be stamens. And gynoecium, it is an innermost whorl of a flower which consists of female reproductive units are said to be carpels. So flower, it is a reproductive part of a plant body which consists of 4 whorls. stalk of a flower is said to be pedicel. The tip of the pedicel is said to be thalamus. On the thalamus, there is a presence of other floral parts. Coming to the first is the calyx. First whorl of a flower consists of green colored units are said to be sepals. Corolla, second whorl of a flower consists of brightly colored units are said to be petals. These two together is said to be non-essential whorls. Androecium, it is the third whorl of a flower, consists of male reproductive structures are said to be, or units are said to be stamens. And then gynoecium, it is an innermost whorl of a flower which consists of female reproductive structures are said to be carpels. Now both androecium and gynoecium together is said to be essential whorls because these two that mainly take part in sexual reproduction. This is about the flower. So flower consists of calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. So in almost all the flowers, that means in case of dicots, you can easily identify this is calyx and that is corolla because the calyx is green in color, corolla is brightly colored. But in case of monocots, calyx and corolla look alike, that is said to be what do you call perianth. You cannot differentiate between calyx and corolla so that these two look alike, therefore the whorl is said to be perianth, which consists of units are said to be tepals. So perianth consists of units known as tepals and the perianth is nothing but undifferentiated calyx and corolla. Next, based on the symmetry of flowers, there are two types. One is said to be irregular flowers, second one is said to be regular flowers. As the name itself indicates, irregular flowers means flower cannot be cut into two equal parts. Such flowers are said to be irregular. Best example is canna. Regular means flower can be cut into two equal parts. So here again there are two types. First one is zygomorphic. Second one is actinomorphic. Zygomorphic and actinomorphic. Zygomorphic means flower can be cut into two equal parts in only one vertical plane. Hige idkondre flower na ಒಂದು ಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ you can cut into two equal parts. Bilaterally symmetrical flowers. Therefore, it is said to be zygomorphic and the best example is Batani. So here, the flower can be cut into two equal parts in more than one vertical plane. That means radially symmetrical. Nee flower hidkondu yav bhagದಿಂದನಾದರೂ cut ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. You will get two equal parts. Therefore, it is said to be actinomorphic and it is seen in hibiscus. So, totally there are two types of flowers. So, there are two types of regular flowers. First is zygomorphic, second one is actinomorphic. Zygomorphic means here the flower can be cut into two equal parts in only one vertical plane. Flower can be cut into two equal parts in more than one vertical plane. This is said to be bilaterally symmetrical and this is said to be radially symmetrical. Next we'll move on to three different types of flowers that is mainly based on the number of floral parts. So flowers are classified into three types. First is trimerous. Second one is tetramerous. Last is pentamerous. Trimerous. Tri means three, merous means whorls. So floral parts are present in three or multiple of three. That means this trimerous, it is seen in monocots. So in case of monocots, it is said to be perianth. So the perianth consists of tepals. So the number of tepals is 3, maybe 6 or maybe 9 or maybe 12, 15 like that. Then it is said to be trimerous. Floral parts are arranged in 3 or multiple of 3. Therefore it is said to be trimerous. Tetramerous. Tetra, 4. Merous, whorls. So 4 petals or 8 petals or 12 like that. Floral parts are arranged in 4 or multiple of 4. Then it is said to be tetramerous. And here penta, 5. Floral parts are present in 5 or multiple of 5. Therefore it is said to be pentamerous. Both tetramerous, pentamerous present in dicots. Trimerous always present in monocots. So based on the number of floral parts, there are three different types of flowers: trimerous, tetramerous, pentamerous. Trimerous means floral parts are arranged in 3 or multiple of 3. Tetramerous, floral parts are arranged in 4 or multiple of 4. Pentamerous means floral parts are arranged in 5 or multiple of 5. These two present in dicots. So tetramerous you can see in Mimosa pudica. ನೋಡಿದೀವಿ ನಾವು ಇದನ್ನ. ಟಚ್ ಮಿ ನಾಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಮುಟ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ ಲೀವ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮುದುರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಸೆಡ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಮಿಮೋಸಾ ಪುಡಿಕಾ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಪೆಂಟಾಮೆರಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಸೀನ್ ಇನ್ ಹೈಬಿಸ್ಕಸ್. So there are three different types of flowers. Trimerous present in all monocots, tetra and pentamerous present in dicots. So now we'll move on to the next topic. Based on the position of ovary, the flowers are classified into three types. First is hypogynous flower. Second one, epigynous flower. Last is perigynous flower. Hypogynous, epigynous, perigynous. This classification is mainly based on the position of the ovary. So now this is a stalk and this stalk is said to be pedicel, and here the tip of the pedicel is said to be thalamus. So in this case what happens? The thalamus becomes like this, flattened structure, and other floral parts that is present above the thalamus like this. So these are the stamens and this is petals and this is sepals. So now hypogynous flower means? Hypo means below. Gynous means gynoecium. Below the gynoecium, other floral parts are present. Therefore, it is said to be hypogynous. What is meant by this hypogynous flower? Now, this is the thalamus. So, the thalamus now becomes flattened structure, and the ovary, this part is said to be the carpal part or the ovary part. Ovary that occupies the terminal region, and other floral parts, stamens, petals and sepals originates from the base of the ovary. Therefore, it is said to be hypogynous. Below the gynoecium, other floral parts are present. Therefore, it is said to be hypogynous. And here, the ovary that occupies the upper part, the terminal part. Therefore, the ovary is said to be superior ovary. So, in case of hypogynous flower, the ovary is said to be superior. Now, coming to the next is epigynous flower. In this case, epigynous. Here, this is the thalamus and this is the pedicel. Now, the ovary part that is present inside the thalamus, and then other floral parts present above the thalamus. So, this is 7. So, this part is said to be thalamus. Here, this part is said to be thalamus. Thalamus becomes flattened and the ovary occupies the terminal part. Other floral parts originates from the base of the ovary. Therefore, the ovary that occupies the terminal region, therefore it is said to be superior. Epigynous. Epi means above. Gynous. Gynoecium. Above the gynoecium, other floral parts are present. In this case, what happens? This thalamus now becomes deeply cup-shaped structures and the two edges of the thalamus that closes, so that it forms a deeply cup-shaped structure, and here that encloses the ovary part, so that the ovary present inside the thalamus and other floral parts, that is stamen, petal and sepal, originates above the ovary. Therefore, it is said to be epigynous flower. Above the ovary, other floral parts are present, and here the ovary that is present inside the thalamus, therefore the ovary is said to be inferior. ಒಳಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿದೆ ovary. Here the ovary is superior. ಮೇಲ್ಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿದೆ. This is inferior. Now coming to the last is the perigynous flower. Here, this is the pedicel and the thalamus now becomes like this, partially cup-shaped structure, and here there is a presence of carpel, and here there is a presence of stamens, petals and sepals. So now, in this case, peri means surrounding. Peri means surrounding. Gynous means gynoecium. Surrounding the gynoecium, other floral parts are present. So, in this case, what happens? The thalamus now becomes partially cup-shaped structure. So, here what happens? The ovary part that is present in the center and other floral parts, stamens, petals and sepals that originates from the rim of the thalamus. Rim andre tudi. Rim of the thalamus, so that it surrounds the gynoecium. Therefore, it is said to be perigynous flower. Surrounding the gynoecium, other floral parts are present. Therefore, it is said to be perigynous flower. So, here the ovary is neither completely superior nor completely inferior. Therefore, it is said to be semi-superior or semi-inferior. Neither completely superior nor completely inferior. So, flower are classified into three types, that is mainly based on the position of the ovary: hypogynous, epigynous, perigynous. Hypo means below, gynous means gynoecium. Below the gynoecium, other floral parts are present, so that the thalamus now becomes flattened, and just above the thalamus or the ovary occupies the terminal part, and other floral parts originates from base of the ovary, so that the ovary is said to be superior. Second one is epigynous flower. Here the thalamus becomes deeply cup-shaped structure, so that it encloses the ovary part, and then here other floral parts like stamen, petal, sepal originates above the ovary, and the ovary is said to be what do you call? Inferior. Perigynous. Peri means surrounding, gynous means gynoecium. The thalamus becomes like this, partially cup-shaped structure, so that in the center there is a presence of gynoecium, and other floral parts originates from the rim of the thalamus, so that it surrounds the gynoecium. Therefore, it is said to be perigynous flower, and the ovary is said to be semi-superior or semi-inferior. So, here hypogynous flower, the best example is hibiscus. Epigynous flower, hypogynous flower, it is seen in hibiscus. Epigynous flower, it is seen in cucumber. Perigynous flower, that is seen in rose. So, totally there are three types of flowers, that is mainly based on the position of ovary. So, in this session, I think you understood what is meant by inflorescence. It may be a single flower or a group of flower or a cluster of flower that is present on the same axis. And what are the parts that are present in an inflorescence, and the inflorescence are classified into two types: racemose, cymose. Racemose means the peduncle or the growth of the peduncle is unlimited. Here it is limited, and it never ends in a flower. Here it always ends in a flower. And then acropetal arrangement, basipetal arrangement, centripetal maturation, centrifugal maturation. And then we studied flower. It is a reproductive part of a plant body which consists of four whorls: calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium. Calyx consists of sepals, corolla consists of petals. Together is said to be non-essential whorl, and then androecium consists of male reproductive structures are said to be stamens. Gynoecium consists of female reproductive structures are said to be carpel. Together is said to be essential whorls, because these two take part in sexual reproduction. And then in case of monocots, what happens? The calyx and corolla look alike. You cannot differentiate between calyx and corolla. That whorl is said to be perianth, and here the perianth, which consists of units, are said to be tepals. And then based on the symmetry, there are two types of flowers: irregular, regular. Irregular means flower cannot be cut into two equal parts. Regular means it can be cut into two equal parts. And there are two types. One is actinomorphic, second one is zygomorphic. Actinomorphic means radially symmetrical flowers. Zygomorphic means bilaterally symmetrical flowers. And then based on the number of floral parts, there are three types of flowers: trimerous, tetramerous, pentamerous. Trimerous present in monocots, tetra and pentamerous present in dicots. Floral parts are arranged in 3 or multiple of 3, 4 or multiple of 4, 5 or multiple of 5. And then coming to the next is the bisexual and unisexual flower. Bisexual flowers means the flower consists of both male and female reproductive structures present in the same flower. And then unisexual means flower consists of either male or a female reproductive structure. And then we studied 3 different types of flowers, that is mainly based on the position of the ovary: hypogynous, epigynous, perigynous. Hypogynous, below the gynoecium, other floral parts are present, ovary is said to be superior. Epigynous means above the gynoecium, other floral parts are present, the ovary is said to be inferior. Perigynous means surrounding the gynoecium, other floral parts are present, and the ovary is said to be semi-superior or semi-inferior. Thank you.